I'm George here in Valencia to announce the Fujifilm X-E5. It's a really brilliant launch from Fujifilm because it borrows an awful lot from their extremely popular X100-6, but it's interchangeable lens, so you can do this. Much like the X100-6 did, it borrows much of its internals from the X-T50, meaning that it has the same sensor and the same processor as both those two cameras. The sensor is a 40.2 megapixel sensor, by the way, so of course you're getting a lot of detail there, means that you're easily able to crop in or just have a really nice crisp image. It also has the same AF system and the same IBIS system, although actually that IBIS system has been marginally improved, not through hardware because it's the same system, but through software. So previously the IBIS used to max out at 6 stops, whereas now in the very center of the image it maxes out at 7, and then on the edges it maxes out at 6. You can see the aesthetic of the camera is also incredibly similar, and that's true of the handling as well, having that nice little small but comfortable grip, and of course that rangefinder style EVF. Now, it wouldn't quite be a Fujifilm camera if I didn't start talking about film sims, would it? And this one has a dedicated dial for film sims, which I think is really cool. So it means that you can really easily go through looks and also actually really easily sort of tangibly see how that is changing the image that you're producing. But you can also set custom ones as well. So if you have your own look that you want to use, you can do so. I really think this camera is sort of trying to replicate that film-esque feel and that way that you shoot using film, but of course, using all of the benefits that digital systems have. That is actually echoed in the sort of retro classic display mode that Fujifilm offer. This strips back all of the usual things that you'd see on your camera screen and just brings you back to the basics like f-stop, shutter speed, and those things that you actually care about when you're taking your images. There's also this nifty little dial on the front here, and that can be used for all sorts of things. Firstly, it can be used for your aspect ratio. So if you don't want to shoot in the most conventional aspect ratio, you don't have to on this camera. You don't need to worry about doing it in post because you can shoot in a very big variety of aspect ratios just using this system. You can also use this dial for crops. So you can do a 1.4 times crop or a 2 times crop. And because, as I mentioned earlier, it has that 40.2 megapixel sensor, even with a 1.4 times or 2 times crop, you're still going to get a really nice detailed image. It's perfect for if you're like me and you've been shooting on a prime the whole time, but of course, you don't want to only have images shot from one focal length. One nice feature when it comes to those crops is, and this is actually, they also did this on the Fujifilm GFX RF, is there are a few options of view modes. One of them is where you can sort of see the surround view. So let's say I was using the crop factor of 2. It means that I could still see the entire image, but it gives me a little square to let me know that's actually the area that's being captured. Of course, that means that if something's coming through or into my frame, I can see it before it gets into the crop factor, and then I can take my shot. Or you could just see sort of the live preview of the 2 times crop. So you won't be able to see anything around the edge, but then you can more finely adjust your composition and make sure you're getting it bang on. Now, I've been using this for about the last day and a half. Fujifilm were kind enough to set up a nice walking tour to see all the sights of Valencia. This is one of them, if you haven't guessed. And then we also went to a national park earlier today to do a paella making course, but then also just to do a nice boat ride and check out some nature. And I've been carrying around using this strap, which comes with the camera the entire time, and it's felt incredibly light. Often I've not even noticed that I've had it on me, and that's probably because it's so light. When you pop a battery and an SD card into this camera, it only weighs 445 grams, so it's extremely nimble. If you want to shoot a faster moving subject, you get up to 8 frames a second when using the mechanical shutter and up to 20 frames a second when using the electronic shutter. If you also wanted to switch it into video to capture that fast moving subject, it has 6.2K up to 30p and then 4K up to 60p. So offering slow-mo in 4K resolution or real time up to 6.2K resolution. And that is all in 10-bit 422, so there's loads of color flexibility there if you want to use F-Log or F-Log2 and then process your footage and pull and push those colors. Any of you keen-eyed viewers might have also noticed that I have a brand new lens on the front of this camera as well, which is a 23mm f2.8. And of course it's an XF lens, which is APS-C, which means that that 23mm, once popped on one of these cameras, is going to act an awful lot more like a 35mm equivalent, thereabouts, which of course is just one of the most classic lens choices to use, so I think that's really nice. In terms of buying this lens, it will come as a kit if you want to do so, not just buy it body only with this camera. But if you want to buy the lens separately, it actually won't be released until November, so you'll have to wait on that one. So what do I actually think of this bit of kit? Well, the X100VI, the entire X100 series actually, are really fun cameras. I mean, there's a million reasons as to why they're so popular, but this one has an interchangeable lens, which means that for somebody like me that doesn't like being locked off on a singular focal length all the time, I can then use that nice 35mm equivalent, but if I see something far away, I can pop on a 200mm equivalent and get that compression and that different style of look using this same stylish system. I think that's where I'll leave off, because you may well have noticed me getting consistently more disgusting and sweaty as this video has gone on. I'm filming it in the middle of the afternoon, in the middle of Valencia. So for my benefit, and also yours, I'll probably end it here. But if you do have any questions or you want to know any more information about this exciting release, then drop a comment below and we'll get back to you. Have a lovely day, and I'll see you in the next video.